Whoa, 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 whoa.
Whoa. Hello, 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 hello.
Morning. Hey, Kava, how's Vegas?
Somebody's working out.
Someone's working out. Who's working out so hard? That's Chris.
That
Oh,
is very
Chris.
inspiring that you're working out right now.
Right on, man. You keep going. And then he turned it off. He didn't know his video was on.
Oh, he's right there. He's still working out.
Still working out. Nice. That is awesome.
Good.
There's Justin Rank. I want to see him.
Corey
There we
says he's trying to connect, KÉCŌ.
You know, and there's Alex. Oh, Alex, dressed up in a fancy shirt. What happened? Ran out of sweatpants and tank tops.
Hey, man. They're down here.
Yeah.
Can't see them, but sweatpants are down there.
Gotcha.
Make sure there's pants.
I love it.
That's
Hey,
all right.
Chris, you're working out hard. Are you working out your home gym? Because if you're in Washington, there ain't no gym open. Oh, where's Chris at? Where are you at, bro?
He's there.
You're on mute.
Is that REI?
That's REI?
No.
No.
He's keeping the detail secret.
Hey, everybody. Sorry, I'm in Las Vegas. Nice to meet
Oh,
everybody.
that's awesome. No, keep running, bro. Don't let us stop you. We're just all jealous that you get to go to the gym. Vegas opened the gyms?
Yeah, we just opened up last Friday, so this is maybe my third time coming. So, yeah, it's pretty good.
Is there any protocol with that where, you know, if you wipe it down, or how does that work?
Yeah, wiping it down. Every other cardio machine, there's a space in between us. And on the gym floor, there's like a color of the day. So every other gym machine you're able to use based on the color. So like I think today's color is blue. Yep, it's blue. So you can use only a blue machine. But no one listens. So
I was gonna
say,
that really makes like your workout regimen very limited.
But if you ask me, it's business as usual. People are doing what they used to do. Seems like nothing has changed.
Nice. How's everything in Vegas in the real estate market right now?
You know, prices are coming down just a little bit. As far as deals, not so much. I'm actually we're actually investing in Memphis right now. So that's the market that we really like at this point.
Yeah. A lot of people.
What kind of properties in Memphis?
I'm sorry?
What kind of properties in Memphis are you investing into?
I'm looking at single families. We're currently working on our first burr, and we're actually 3/4 of the way through our rehab. We're set to be done with our rehab on the 10th, and hopefully we did a delayed financing option, so we're trying to pull 75% of our investment out, hopefully by the end of this month.
Nice. Congratulations.
Thank you.
That's awesome. Yeah, Memphis is a nice place. And they've got gyms open. So, you know, I was going to start investing across the country based on the cities where gyms are open, haircuts are open, and you can actually go to a bar and get a drink. Not too many of those cities available around the country.
Yes.
That's awesome. Well, welcome. Glad you're with us. Welcome to Tay Jacobson and her daughter. Woo! Got an intern there. Intern starting up.
Good morning or good afternoon, guys. Say hi.
Hi.
Hey, hi. She's adorable.
Hi. So we're on Maui, so kind of looking forward to listening to what Greg's got to say.
Oh yeah, Greg's always got lots to say.
Yeah.
Greg,
we started cold calling this week, and it's been okay. Yeah.
Nice.
It's been pretty good. Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah, we'd love to hear more about how that's all going for sure. Which is awesome. Cool. How's the Big Island, Loretta and Jim? Big Island.
Very good, thank you. Good
awesome. We're glad that you're with us.
Wet right now, but it's pretty.
Oh yeah?
Yep.
That's awesome. Yeah. Well, the Big Island's always such a fun place for sure.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yes, it is.
No matter what. All right. Nidal, what's happening out there at 2:00 in the morning, your time zone?
Hey, dude, no, it's actually midnight. No, but that's fine. Yeah, all good.
Right on, man. Midnight. Okay, so you guys are midnight. Yeah, that's a long ways away. Thanks for making us international. Glad
Yeah.
you're with us. Justin Rank, welcome. KÉCŌ, welcome. Alex Camacho, hey, welcome, man. Alex, where are you located?
Muted, brother.
Alex is located and muted. Nice.
Anyway, thanks.
Sorry,
I'm in LA.
You're in LA right now?
Mm-hmm.
Nice. How's the real estate market in LA right now?
It depends on who you ask, but it's moving. I mean, properties are selling. It's lack of inventory.
Nice. Are you an investor or are you a realtor? Are you
full-time fix and flip? So
nice.
yeah, I mainly do fix and flip deals here in LA.
Fantastic. What's your price point
Hey,
that you
Alex.
normally?
What's up? My price point, I like to buy property under 375, single family.
Nice. Every community in LA or just certain pockets?
Well, typically I'm buying in East LA, South LA, and the Northeast part of the San Fernando Valley.
Awesome. Right on, man. Well, glad you're on. We have an off-market deal in the North San Diego area, so I'll hook up with you and kind of let you know, see if that's something that you might want to do.
Sure, I go down to San Diego. I've done 2 deals down there.
Nice. You do deals or you go down for drinks? Because, you know.
Yeah, we check out Gaslamp District. It's a cool place, right?
Yeah, it's an awesome place. That's awesome. Well, welcome, man.
Thank you.
Welcome, Javon. Selena
Hey,
Chen. Dr. Chen is in the house. Right on. Oh, Brandon Turner. Nice beard. Looking handsome.
Oh, thank you, sir. You too?
Yeah.
Looking
well,
handsome.
You know, I couldn't grow a beard if I tried, bro. The puberty did not work in my favor, and I still try to grow. And man, it looks. I tried the Corona beard, Corona beard. I thought I could do a BC type of thing, but didn't work out.
Yeah, I remember being 7 years old too. It's rough, man.
I love it. I love it. Are you guys going to the beach? I see your kids in the back seat.
Yeah, we are getting some pest spray stuff down at our house, and so we had to leave the house for 4 hours. So we're not really sure where we're going right now. We're driving. So
yeah, you know what's crazy about Maui? I just saw a picture from a buddy of mine, dude. All those rental cars lined up on the side of the road. It looks like the rapture happened, doesn't it?
I know, it's crazy. There's like 50,000 cars or whatever just parked.
Yeah, just parked on the side of the road. It's like you can't even see palm trees. All you see is Ford SUVs.
Cars.
It's like crazy.
Yep.
And convertibles. Yep. And what's crazy is they all look the same. And you realize, man, all these cars that you thought were residents, they're all just tourists.
They're all tourists. Yep. Yeah, it's crazy.
100%. Well, glad you're on. Welcome.
Thank you.
We're gonna be calling on you guys in just a moment. I think I saw Micah jump on as well.
Yeah, I think he's here.
And then
hey, actually, I heard today's Micah's birthday, so we got to give Micah a shout out for his birthday. Happy birthday, Micah!
Thank you.
Happy birthday,
Micah. So what did you turn 7? Can you grow a beard? Are you older than me?
A little older than 7, 25, but yeah. I
25.
Shaved off my little stubble today.
Happy birthday, bro.
Yeah, thank you.
Would you like us all to sing? What?
No. Please don't. Please don't. Please don't embarrass me like that.
Singing girls.
There's one of our investors is actually a professional singer. Is she on right now? Where did she go?
She's awesome.
She was amazing, man. It was chicken skin last time.
I think she's on today.
She may not have joined on today. Well, that's all right, Micah. You get one better than that. You get Corey. Corey can sing so good. So good that the shower tiles turn color. It's awesome.
Okay, guys, good call. I'll see you later.
well, that's all good. Happy birthday, Micah. We won't put you through the agony of listening to us all sing. Although, what's really funny is my 13-year-old daughter is in choir, and so her class does this Zoom choir practice, and it's just amazing what people can do through Zoom and all the different parts and harmonies. So I wish we could do that for you, but unfortunately, I'm not so sure all of us would sound all that great. So
yeah, no worries. This time next year, have the choir come.
Gotcha. Right on. Well, all right. Well, welcome everybody. It's a little bit after 1 o'clock here in the Pacific Northwest, 4 o'clock on the East Coast. And then we've got, of course, folks internationally, and Hawaii is at the beginning of the day. So welcome everybody. Glad you're with us again. We started the Coffee Talk just at the start of the pandemic, just to have a conversation for investors to kind of process together. By no means are Corey or I experts in the field, and we don't claim to be. In fact, we do this more because we love learning from all of you. So we're glad that you're on and with us and growing with us. It's a blast. And today we're going to get a chance to just hear about a deal that was happening in Maui with Greg, Micah, and Brandon. But like we usually do, we always start off each week with leads and needs. So I wanted to give everybody kind of a chance to shout out if you've got a lead of some kind that you can share with others on the Coffee Talk, or if you've got a need, you got a need for money, you got a need for a nap, need for coffee, or anything like that, just do a quick shout out. So anybody want to jump in? Got a lead or a need?
While people are thinking, I guess I just want to say thank you to Chris Wachendorf. He hooked up Alex last call. Alex needed or was trying to close a loan for $300,000 out in Alaska, and Chris, thank you for the referral. Looks like we're going to try to push forward on that one. Right on, Chris.
Where's Chris?
We are.
Big mahalo to Chris.
I don't think he's on right now. Oh, there he is. Perfect. Yeah, man. Thank you. I appreciate it. We're working on the close still, but I think it's gonna move forward. So we really do appreciate it. Thank you.
It was an interesting opportunity.
Yeah, it is. Definitely.
Yeah, not too many times can you invest in a ground up marijuana business and be successful at it. So only on the Coffee Talk can you have an opportunity like that, right?
So he had tried to get one of the dispensaries started here, and he had a great team, but you know, in Hawaii, it's all about who you know.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, we appreciate you connecting in and sending some of your resources. Again, that's the heart behind what we're doing on this call each week, is really get a chance to work together as one big family, one big ohana, one big network to help each other grow and help each other be successful in practical ways. So thanks, Chris, for representing that well. Anybody else got a need of any kind? Anybody else got a need for $300,000 that Chris can go help us find and fund?
I have another deal. I got another deal, 1.2 million, 12% return. No prepay penalty, probably a 6-month exit. It's in San Francisco. It's a TIC deal.
Tell us what a TIC is, Alex.
Tenancy in common. So if you're in Hawaii and you guys do CPRs, or you know what the CPR is, essentially it's the same thing, but in California. So you can take a property that would be rent controlled and remove the rent control by getting a tenancy in common approved, and you can sell them as individual units. So it's a good play to get the rent control out of the equation in multifamily properties in different cities. In Los Angeles, San Francisco, it's a big play.
Solid.
That one's in San Francisco?
Yeah.
1.2 million?
1.2 million.
A parking stall?
Huh?
Yeah, right.
A studio?
It's a 1.4 million with the rehab, sorry. 1.1 million payoff.
Single family?
No, it's a duplex.
Oh, wow.
Nice. Yeah. Nice. Awesome. Cool. So if anybody's got something 1.2 interested in the Bay Area, hit up Alex. Alex, throw your email address in the chat, would you, in case anybody wants to reach out. Chris Brown, last week you had a lead on a property that you were trying to wholesale out. Did you get somebody to take that from you?
Bowen, number one. But no, we're going to keep it.
Oh, better yet.
Yeah, we decided to keep it. I had somebody for $35K that wanted to take it, and then the more we thought about it, I mean, it's just a great rental property.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, good. Anything else that you have a need for that we can announce out?
Well, I might. I've got a friend of mine that just moved to. Hold on one second, because she and I were just talking about it this morning. So she's in Oahu, and she's got a off-market $700,000 2-unit property, and it needs some work. I don't know anything more about it, but if anybody is there, I need a partner for it or something like that. I don't know much more about it than that right now. She's getting me some more information. She's getting me the agent's name, the owner's name. I can get that stuff, but yeah.
That's awesome. Well, so why don't you do this then, Chris? Grab more information about that deal, throw it up onto our KÉCŌ Exchange Facebook page.
Yeah.
And then if anybody on the call is looking for a partner on Oahu to do a flip, Chris is the legit deal. He's a good guy. And so if you are interested in getting started, sometimes the best way is to partner up with somebody with some experience, especially with the hard money lending industry right now. Great opportunity. So yeah, throw that up there on the Facebook and see if somebody wants to do that.
Okay, I have a question for you.
Yeah.
How can we invite, I'm trying to invite her to get on the call. So how do I, when you guys send me the invite, how do I invite somebody onto the call? How do you do that?
Just give her the same login number that you did. So just zoom.com and then join meeting, and she just types in the number and then she's in.
Okay, perfect. All right.
Yeah, absolutely.
A little too advanced for me.
Right on, right on. Sounds good. All right. Any other leads or needs?
I just want to put it out there for, I don't know if James and Hamilton are on the call, but they're actively looking for deals in Hawaii. Oh, James is on the call. So anyone that has any properties that they're looking to wholesale or anything, they're active buyers, they're ready to go. So
nice. And what's their price point?
Anything.
Hey, James, how much money you like to spend?
Just send me a deal.
Send the deal.
Sounds good. This actually is an interesting question I think a lot of us can benefit from. In the midst of the pandemic, and of course with all of CNN talking about the potential of the market changing, how are you evaluating your deals right now? Are you looking at 60, 70% ARV, or what's your buying criteria?
Sorry. Well, our criteria basically is, I mean, I don't really use the 60% or 70% right now. We basically look at the actual property itself, figure out what a good ARV would be, you know, under the conditions that's happening right now, and what our timeline is. And then we kind of back into our purchase price.
Perfect. Okay. Sounds good. So James, you're on Oahu, yeah?
Yes.
Okay. So there was some questions on the chat about where you're from. So James, try post your email address in the chat. So that way, those that are interested in letting you know of some deals that are happening, we can definitely let you know. And they can get in touch with you. That'd be awesome. Hey, Tom Porter, how's everything in the Midwest today?
Crazy.
What does that mean, crazy?
It's been insane for the last 10 days to 2 weeks. Things just took off. So low inventory, everything's selling. Everything is selling. Multiple offers, a day or two on the market. I mean, it's crazy. So
nice. At all price points, or are you noticing that more in a certain price point?
Pretty much everything. Like I said, I mean, it's I've seen stuff in the 100 to 150. I mean, we actually have some decent houses here in the Midwest for 100 to 150,000, up to 800,000-900,000, which for us, I mean, again, for the Midwest, $800,000 to $900,000 is a high price point. So
you buy one entire zip code for $900,000 out there. So
yeah, right. Hey, I just got it real quick while I'm here. I apologize. I stepped in late, but I'm going to throw a quick thank you out to Scott, Justin, and Tyler. You guys have helped us out with some lending for some of my investors here in Cincinnati in the last week or so. And I got to be honest with you, man, I've been doing this for 13 years in some way, shape, or form, and I've never worked with anyone, hands down, that is more responsive and professional. So I just want to say thank you. So it's awesome.
Thank you for the opportunity. Appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks great for the referral. Really appreciate it, man.
Yep.
That's awesome.
He started his Instagram profile, by the way, and he's actually putting out some nice content. So go follow him, Tom Porter.
Yeah, thank you. I'm working on it. I hired an assistant that actually works for a local news channel, and she's got me. She said, "You're going to get out of your comfort zone one way or the other." So she put me in front of a camera.
Nice.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, it's good. So thank you guys. I appreciate it.
Yeah, no, we appreciate you using KÉCŌ Capital, and the team definitely tries to take every single client as if they're truly family in Ohana. So glad you experienced that, and our values are actually truly ringing through what we do. So
yeah, 100%.
Love it.
Thank you.
Awesome, thanks. Dustin Emoto, you look like you're in prison, brah. Where are you located at right now?
We love the brick walls out of here, so I'm just eating breakfast.
Nice, nice. Well, welcome, bro. How's the wholesaling business going?
Good. Yeah, just was a bit slow for the online, but still got some leads in the pipeline and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I just got back into the direct mailers. I don't know if you guys ever heard of REI print mail. So I'm just getting that ready to start blasting out, and yeah, I've been just trying to get it back going and stuff like that.
Yeah, REI print mail. Bro, you got to take one bite right in front of us, so we got to stare at your amazing breakfast.
I just woke up like 5 minutes ago. I'm starving, man.
That's what happens when you work out so hard and lift so much, but that's all good, bro. Well, welcome. Awesome. Corey, you got any other opening notes? Otherwise, we're going to move into getting a chance to chat with Greg and Micah and Brandon on their cool deal on Maui.
Yeah, no, just thank you everybody for jumping on again. It's always good to see the same faces. So let's get going.
Nice. Well, right on. So over the last couple of weeks, it's been really fun. We just spent a little bit of time on leads and needs, and then some of us, we were talking a little bit about the economy. And then we always get a chance to meet somebody who's actively doing what we love doing, which is real estate and investing. We've got brokers and realtors and investors and lenders on the call, so it's awesome. So on Maui, there's a power team there that has been real active, and it's been exciting because this team is dear to our hearts. We got started in Seattle because we got a chance for Brandon teed us up with a great introduction to Tarl Yarber out here in Seattle, and we just became great friends. In fact, if you think about it, shoot Tarl and Grace, his wife, a short prayer. They're pregnant and they're going to be delivering here shortly. The baby shower's tomorrow, so keep them in mind. It's very exciting for them. But yeah, so on Maui, Greg and Micah and Brandon, they have a Maui home buyers program out there, and so they're pretty active at sourcing deals. So we're going to listen in on a deal that they just got not too long ago. In fact, they were under contract just as the pandemic was hitting. And sometimes as an investor, the most important facet to investing is pivoting and problem solving. And so when you're under contract and you got a pandemic coming and you're not sure what the economy is going to do, and then you're on a remote island and not even the main island of Oahu, you're on an outer island, there's just a lot of factors that have to play into the decision making. And so Greg and Micah and Brandon really had to think through this particular deal. It's a single family home. And so I'm going to let them talk a little bit about the acquisition, and we're going to talk a little bit about the pandemic, the rehab, how they account for their rehab, and then just some of the challenges that they've had along the way. So how about just a quick round of applause to welcome Brandon, Greg, and Micah. Glad you guys are with us. Woo-hoo! So I'm going to mute everybody, and then Greg, Micah, and Brandon, if you guys want to just jump in.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, KÉCŌ, thank you so much for having us. Oh, sorry, Micah.
Oh, no. I was just going to say I'll share my screen, Greg. So as you talk,
perfect. Thank you.
Greg's back in his Porsche, driving around the island, as always.
Can you guys see that okay?
Looks great.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, so thank you so much, KÉCŌ and Corey, for having us. We're going to talk about this deal that, like you mentioned, we had under contract. Let's see, I believe the seller first contacted me in late February, and we opened escrow in early March. And by the way, can you hear me okay? How's the connection?
Sounding great, man.
Perfect.
Okay. Yeah, so we had this thing under contract in early March. We were scheduled to close on it March 31st.
And initially, it looked like, you know, we felt like, okay, this is a good deal. We'll make a little money. It's not like a home run. But, you know, right kind of like at the, right past our contingency date is when everything, kind of the pandemic really broke out and things got real ugly and scary. And so it was a real test. And actually, Brandon and I discussed it when we were recording. We discussed it before our contingency date passed, and we said, what should we do? Like, should we cancel? Like, this is our last chance to get we had $10,000 down. And we decided that we did not think the coronavirus was going to be as severe as it turned out to be. We still have yet to see how it's going to affect real estate prices on Maui. But anyways, we didn't cancel in the contingency period. And then within a matter of days, I think maybe within a week later, is when everything got really serious. The stock market was down to like 18,000, you know, 30, 40% or whatever it was.
Yeah.
And things were not looking very good. Yeah. So that
hey, Greg,
was.
let me pause you for just a second. Can we back up for a second? You said that the seller contacted you, so let's focus in on the acquisition. So on Maui, are you direct mailing? Are you door knocking? Are you just praying and hoping something just shows up at your doorstep? What's kind of your acquisition plan as a group?
Yes, and yes. So yeah, we do. Yeah, we do direct mail. We do, you know, we have an online presence. We've got social media. We have a website, direct mail, like I said, you know, the auctions. And then I think a really big one is just networking, you know, just like we host the meetup here on Maui. You know, just everything, you know, bandits. Yeah.
So a little bit of
Tay mentions the bandit signs at my house. So, you know, I don't really want to be breaking the law by putting them out. We're not supposed to have them here in Maui, but I have them on my personal property because we're on a main street. So, yeah, just everything. So a lot of marketing and a lot of word of mouth stuff.
That's awesome. Cool. Let's talk a little bit about then. So you guys are a team, Brandon, Greg, and Micah. Brandon, maybe this is a question for you. How's your team structured, and kind of how does that work as a group? We know you've got a lot of other fires going at the same time. I shouldn't say fires, opportunities that become fires, right? But tell us a little bit about this team and how that partnership is structured.
Yeah, sure. So it started based on this philosophy, and I talk about this on Bigger Pockets a lot, that like you need three things to put together any deal. You have to have knowledge, hustle, and money, right? Like you don't need to have all those things. So it started with Greg and I met at just a local meetup the first time I came to Maui and started chatting together. And that led to us, you know, becoming friends, surfing together a couple times. And what I noticed in Greg is that he just had a ton of hustle and a ton of education. And so because he had those two things, I had more money, or at least, you know, not enough to buy $1 million house necessarily in cash, but I had enough for down payment and rehab. And so we decided to work together. So Greg definitely leads the hustle on almost everything in terms of finding deals and managing contractors. I had a lot more of the money side. And then Mike actually reached out, just sent me a letter in the mail. Like the day I was saying, man, I need somebody to help with my bookkeeping and finance and all that. And Micah reached out and I got a letter from him in the mail with a gift card to Monkey Pod, which is, for those of you who know me, that's my favorite restaurant on the planet. I eat there like 4 times a week when it was open. And so he gave me a gift card.
Yeah, their banana pie is the best, man.
Oh, so good. I go the strawberry pie. I love that thing.
Yeah,
so good.
That was pretty good too. I'll let you know.
Yeah.
All right, so then you guys kind of form this team, and then so I think, you know, everyone's always interested in how partnerships work because everybody wants to try to get into a partnership. So in terms of whatever you feel comfortable sharing, how do you do a partnership in your situation? Do you do an operating agreement? Are you a profit share? Are you, you know, kind of some sort of agreement that you guys make in advance? You know, what happens to the loss if you actually do a loss? You know, is there prenuptials apparently, you know?
Yeah, good question. So essentially how we have it worked out is Open Door Capital itself, which is my company, is owned 100% by me. So the actual legal paperwork, I actually own everything. Greg gets basically 50% in 1099 form. So I 1099 him. What that does, it takes all the risk off of Greg and puts it on me. And that was on purpose because again, I'm not the one out there, you know, dealing with annoying contractors and trying to get people to show up on time. So for that, I will take the money risk and just like the legal risk of anything going wrong. So Greg gets a 1099 for any profit made. We've done this is our third one of the year, Greg, I think. We did 2 condos and then this one. Yeah, and the first 2 condos were amazing. I mean, it's just like best flips I've ever done, both of them. Like my 2 best flips were both this year with Greg. Yeah, so we did that.
Nice, I didn't know that.
yeah, those are the 2 best flips I ever did. And then, yeah, one was like 130,000 and one was like 70, something like that.
134 and 68.
Yeah, so crazy.
Great for a condo. Woohoo!
Yeah, for a condo.
Both condos, yeah.
Yeah, both condos. So that was awesome. And then Micah gets a salary. So he actually works for Open Door Capital as a W-2, but he also gets a piece of every deal. And I don't remember the exact percentage, but like he gets a small piece of every single deal as well. So now he gets salary and some incentives. So that's kind of how we work it.
That's awesome.
Getting a ROI on that Monkey Pod gift card.
Yeah,
seriously, right? Good job, Micah. Way to be creative.
Yeah.
That was one of the fastest turnarounds too, by the way. Your guys' condo.
Yeah. Greg is the fastest flipper I've ever known. Like, Greg, I can't give you enough props on that. Like, dude, like this guy's like, I think we listed like 3 days after we bought or something. I don't know. That was crazy.
Didn't we just close that loan and they're asking for payoffs now?
Yeah.
Exactly. That was awesome, though. Well, so let's just dive into the deal, but then also keep on this tone of partnership, because I heard, and Brandon, maybe you can add your perspective on this as well as Greg. So you guys are under contract for this property that we're looking at, which is a beautiful property in a great neighborhood. Pandemic hits, and then now partners always have to figure out a way to problem solve together, and that's always the hardest thing about partnerships. And the problem you're facing is a pandemic, which, you know, no Bigger Pockets episode prior taught you how to deal with that. There was no MBA class that said, hey, you know, if you ever face this in your business, do this. So how did you guys kind of think through the contract? Because you said that the contract was basically expiring in terms of your ability to get your 10 grand out. So it was a go or no go decision. I'd be curious, and maybe the rest of us are curious, is, you know, how close were you to that timeline? You know, so if the timeline was, hey, today is our deadline date, you know, we got to make a decision. How close were you to that pressure point? And how did that conversation go between you guys in order to make a decision on what to do?
Okay, so when the day that Brandon and I recorded my Bigger Pockets podcast episode was the day that I brought it up, and, you know, the stock market had been taking big hits for, I think, that whole week. And I kind of was like, hey man, you know, we had like 4 days left, I think, at that point to cancel within our contingency period and get our $10,000 back. And I think, you know, we just weren't too concerned about it at that point. We thought, you know, we might see some change, but based on the information we had at hand, we could never have seen what was coming. We decided to move forward. The contingency period passed, and I would say within, I think it was probably a week, maybe 5 to 7 days of the contingency date passing is when our country started to get shut down. I think it was around March 17th when the country shut down, and I think our contingency date was around March 10th, and then our closing date was March 31st. So once the country shut down around the 17th, 20th, you know, in that kind of mid to late March period is when Brandon and I really started talking about it and thinking about, like, what could go wrong, you know, what's our upside, what's our downside, what you know, what happens if we hold this thing for 5 years? Can we break even? And ultimately, we pretty much had decided we were canceling. The other thing that happened in that period was the hard money industry basically had collapsed, right? Like
Yeah.
there was almost no hard money available for a period of time there.
Yeah.
And that kind of became an issue too, trying to figure out how we could get funding. And at that point, it didn't look like we were going to be able to get funded.
Yeah. And Brandon,
so
what
I
were you
went to-
thinking at that point? Because you're obviously the personal guarantor on the note, you know, if
Yeah.
it went forward. You know, we do partnerships from time to time too, and it's always easier to be the guy who's managing the project than the guy who writes the checks and is on the line for the loan docs. So tell us your thought processes and how you kind of discerned which way to go in terms of, you know, Greg just basically said, hey, we're about to cancel. So obviously you didn't. That's why we're talking about the deal. So kind of what was in your real estate investment mindset at that juncture?
Yeah. You know, I always say that I never want to flip houses that I couldn't rent out. So I'm a big, you know, multiple exit strategy kind of guy. Not that I wanted to necessarily rent it out, but I could, right? So that was the idea being, could I break even by renting this out if I had to? And the answer was yes. So I was okay moving forward on that. Now, still, I didn't want to when the world was falling apart. If the seller would have given us a real easy out, or like financing wouldn't have come through, I'd have been okay with it. I'd been like, okay, well, let's leave. At the time, I was probably like 60-40. I don't really want to do it because I just don't like that much risk, right? But then it just kind of all came together, and I don't know. I'm kind of a I don't know what you call it. Like, I don't want to say it's a spiritual thing because I don't think it's that at all. But it's more like I like serendipity like that. Like I look for that kind of stuff. And when everything just kind of comes together, I take that as a sign. Okay, I'm going to move forward and do this thing. So that's kind of where I was at.
Nice.
Everything just kind of fell into place. I didn't really tell Brandon like some of the stuff we were doing to make this thing happen.
That's probably a good thing, or he probably would have backed out sooner.
I mean, we had pretty much made the decision to cancel. I met with the seller, and they lived in California, but she had actually come to Maui to clean out the house and get her stuff out. And this is like a week before we're supposed to close. And I'm like, listen, I'm horribly sorry, but this is not like a normal obstacle, right? Like this is something nobody could have predicted. Like this is a major catastrophic event. This changes everything. And I told her, it's not looking like we're going to be able to close. And she was understanding, but she's basically said, I'm scheduled to close on this bank-owned REO like 2 days after we close this sale, and I can't close on that without the funds. And I asked the bank, I asked her, if they could extend, if we can get some more time at least to figure things out. And she said the bank said, like, they were completely opposed to extending. I think she might have bluffed a little bit, but she said, like, basically.
Yeah, I did too. I think she made this all up.
Yeah, she definitely. Yeah. And I know for a fact that she bluffed because I watched the property that she was in escrow on, and it didn't close till like a month later, basically. But yeah, she had me under, she was trying to convince me that she was closing on this purchase like the next day, and the bank said, if you don't, if the funds aren't there, if you don't record, we sue you for performance. And so she said to me, like, if they sue me, I have no choice. Like, I hate to sue, but I'll have to sue you for performance, and so on and so forth. So she didn't want us to cancel, basically. And we didn't want to cancel, but we're also looking at the upside and downside. The potential upside, like, let's say best case, we make $100,000, split 50-50, after taxes, 25 grand each, versus walking away from a 10 grand deposit. And then the downside being like, we could lose $100,000 or, potentially worse if things really got really nasty. What we did though, is we used this situation, as a way to renegotiate the price. So, our original purchase price was $935. Originally, I had wanted to get it for about $9 to $915. And, we negotiated, we went through a lot of rounds of negotiation and ended up at $935. When all the pandemic broke out, we were able to bring that back down, renegotiated it down to $900. which made us, I think, a lot more comfortable, because that little amount is enough to make a big difference. You know, like it could be the difference between a profit and a loss at this point. So,
That's awesome.
I just
yeah. So we proceeded.
That because during that time, I think we mentioned on the calls before that we had 4 loans on the table when the market or the industry, the hard money industry, just exploded right overnight. And Brandon and Greg's, you know, was one of those loans, and it was right at the signing table. We're ready to close, and then our partners kind of just went upside down, you know, and closed their doors. So credit to Justin, Scott, and Tyler, you know, and Alex, who kind of just kept pushing the loan through. We had to pivot, like, and we were heavily involved in, like, kind of communicating with Greg and Brandon, thinking like, what should we do? You know, nobody's been through this before, right? So all putting our heads together, trying to make the best decision we can, you know, with a seller who is, you know, kind of pushing them to close. And it was a tough decision for them to make. And it's interesting now to hear the conversation, you know, that you guys are thinking through, because KÉCŌ and I have conversations like that when, you know, big, important decisions have to be made. And that's sometimes what we have to face, you know, when we're all doing business out here, balancing doing the right thing and taking care of everybody, but also looking out for you and your investors. So,
Well, can I jump in? Can I jump in real quick, Corey? Like, I want to say, like, you know, like, there's a million lenders out there. Like, I've worked with a lot of them, and I swear you guys, like, didn't ask me to say this or anything like that, but, like, you never know how somebody really is until things get bad, right? Like, everybody can do deals when things are good. Every lender can fund a deal when things are good, when money's flowing. So the fact that you guys pulled this through, like, that should be like a forever, like, testimony to, like, your guys' ability, because we saw how you perform when things were bad. And so anyway, just thank you for, you know, pulling it through. I know you guys put a lot of work into it, so thank you.
Yeah, and just to kind of second on that, like, you know, Scott, Corey, Alex, guys just pulled a miracle. I mean, I still can't believe that we pulled that off and we closed. I think we closed 1 day later or something, which, like, I mean, it was unreal. Like, I couldn't, and the transparency was incredible. So I'm super grateful for you guys and that we were working with you. And it was a miracle, because I also, when all this stuff was happening, I called like every hard money lender in my phone book, and every single one of them said, sorry, we have no funds. We're, you know, no, we're not doing any loans. Basically, all our funding is gone. And these guys pulled it off. So that was huge. So anyways, yeah, we closed on the property. We did a very quick rehab. The thing that personally I really like about this house is that it was the ugliest house in the nicest neighborhood. So it's in a neighborhood. Yeah, exactly. So it's in a neighborhood called KÉCŌ Views, which is borderline of Wailea and South Kihei, which is a very high-end, very desirable neighborhood on Maui. Actually, it's Brandon's neighborhood.
Desirable because Brandon lives there, or it was desirable before that?
I think I brought down the value a little bit. You know, it was a little nicer before I got in this area.
Rumor is when Brandon moved into Kihei, like, property values went up, you know. That's rumor, I think, but I don't know.
Well, let's go through the photos, Greg. I know Micah's all teed up with some of these ugly house turned glorious kind of pictures. The outside looks amazing.
Yeah, so first off, I just want to apologize for the picture quality. These are just some collages that I had thrown together on my phone, so they're not the greatest pictures, but they at least show you a little bit of what the house looks like and a little bit of what we did to it. Again, it was a super minor rehab. We had budgeted $35,000 on the rehab, and we spent $45,000, I believe. Michael will dig into the numbers and give us some more specifics. But yeah, there's the kitchen. So we changed the countertop, we changed the ovens, we changed the hardware, the sink, the blinds, and the light bulbs. So
nice.
Not a whole lot. It was a lot of deep cleaning, but you know, it wasn't dated enough to justify doing a full renovation. You know, it had new floors already. The seller had put all new vinyl plank flooring throughout. She had a brand new air conditioner, owned photovoltaic. And so, yeah, a lot of it was just small cleaning up, or big time cleaning, because it had been rented and the tenants never cleaned. And some little repairs, little fixes, little upgrades. And the one thing we did was we gutted the guest bathroom, because that was horrible. And then we made some updates. That's the master bathroom we just passed there. We just changed out the vanities, you know, mirrors, light fixtures, again, cleaning, staging, and that's about it. And then there's the guest bathroom. So I don't know how well you can see the tile that on the before pictures, but it's horrible, like pink grout.
Yeah.
And it's just horrible.
What do you mean, man? Pink is in, man. Everybody's liking pink.
That bathroom vanity, that granite top stops the toilet seat from going up. So you cannot, you know, like if you need the toilet seat up, you have to hold it up for guys. Yeah, so that was horrible. We actually kept that vanity, the cabinet, and just replaced the top.
Kept the floor, took out the tile, did new mirrors. That's awesome. So it was just the top.
Yeah, so basically we kept the vanity and we kept the flooring, but everything else we gutted. We put all new drywall in. We put the new, you know, we tiled the shower, put the bathtub with the glass door, and yeah.
That's great.
Actually, we kept the toilets too, because they're high-end Toto toilets.
Nice.
Yeah. So that was the main. We spent a lot of money in there.
Oh, the yard looks so much better.
Yeah, that's the side yard. So the way this house is laid out, it doesn't have a backyard. It has a yard on each side of the house. It's a narrow lot. And the unique thing about this property is that the yard that we're looking at right now is connected to a 5,000 square foot vacant lot that is owned by the county that cannot be built on. And it is fenced in. So this picture is actually taken from like just over the property line. The bottom picture is the after picture. And so I don't think we have a picture of the yard, but the backyard is huge. I mean, it's like there's enough space to build a cottage, basically, if you could build. But the upside is for somebody that has kids or dogs, or you know, like it's a massive backyard that they have access to, that they don't have to pay property taxes on, that they never have to worry about anybody building there. And they can probably, one of the things that I wanted to do with this deal, but I just never got to, was to reach out to the county and offer them like $1,000 or something for it. See if they'd take it.
You never know.
You never know, right?
Things.
Yeah, they paid $300,000 for it maybe 15 years ago, but they can't do anything else to it. So like they cannot build on it or do anything with it. So
awesome. So you didn't have to do the roof, plumbing, electrical was good. So really it was just some paint and then a bunch of cosmetic.
Yeah, it was a lot of little things, you know. We epoxied that garage floor because it was green and hideous. You know, we painted the exterior. Let's see, like I mentioned the things we did in the kitchen and the master bath, like a lot of those little things. So yeah, that's why it was only a $45,000. We did landscaping also. We spent I think about $5 or $6 grand on landscaping. We needed to make it nicer, but we didn't feel like we needed to really deck it out. So we just kind of touched up the landscaping and
nice.
Added some of that black cinder rock, and
cool. Micah, what other photos do you have on there?
I think those are all the photos that I have that I scrolled through.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk about the numbers then. Everybody always loves looking about numbers. So budget-wise, did you do the Bigger Pockets deal analysis? Oh, there it is.
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
Yeah. So one of the things that and by the way, so when working with Brandon, I kind of knew going into it that I had listened to the podcast, and I always hear him say that. Well, he's mentioned things like, "Oh, this guy brought me a deal. This guy tried to show me a deal, and he sent it to me on the Bigger Pockets calculator," which I appreciated because he knows that that's my preferred way to analyze a deal, and I know where everything is. Like, it's easy to, you don't have to learn, like, dig around and find what you're looking for, like, because he's familiar with it.
My problem with spreadsheets is that like, I don't have time, and most people don't have time to go dig through every single formula to figure out where the person screwed up. Because every spreadsheet I think I've ever looked at has a mistake somewhere. So rather than doing that, I just make everyone come to me with the Bigger Pockets one because I know that we've tested it enough. So yeah.
Which actually, that's a really good lesson just in general for everybody, because whenever especially if you're new to real estate investing and you're going to partner with somebody, try to figure out the best way, we say it all the time, to bring value to the investor when you want to partner with them. And if they like their deal analysis a certain way, kind of do what Greg did, get to know what that is. So that way, when you're bringing them the deal, it's as easy to review as possible. And then when you kind of think of what their criteria is and you include that in the deal analysis, it makes it so much easier. I know for Corey and I, that's the case. We get offered stuff all the time, and it sounds great at face value. And then when we look at the deal analysis, we're like, we have to start over. So we got to spend 2 hours trying to recreate this thing, which means, you know what, we're not interested already. It just takes too much time. So I know we have a lot of newer investors kind of getting started, as well as seasoned investors. I think I speak on behalf of all the seasoned investors to say, bring the deals as best as you can, as complete as possible. I think this is exciting. 2 weeks ago, Corey and I shared our analysis. The BP analysis is where I think all of us started. I know Corey and I started at the BP side too, in terms of the deal analysis. So Greg, walk us through, or Micah, walk us through how the BP deal analysis works for those that haven't gotten a chance to use it yet.
Greg, you want to go ahead?
Yeah, so one more thing I wanted to mention on this was, we talked a little bit about how our partnership works and how it came to be, structure, all that. For anybody that wants to know more about that, I think we went pretty deep into that on the podcast, on the Bigger Pockets podcast episode that aired yesterday, episode 385. So Brandon and I kind of talked about how I approached him, how I went from being this total newbie investor, because guys, by the way, I'm still a total newbie, so I'm humbled to be sharing our
you
deal,
undervalue yourself, Greg.
No, thank you, Brandon, but I'm still a newbie. I got to be honest. So
well, hey, real quick, as you continue, can I jump in? I have to actually, my little girl here is wanting me to come play with her, so I'm gonna leave you guys here and let you finish this up, Greg. I wish I could stay forever.
Thanks for jumping on, bro.
Thanks, Brandon.
Thanks for joining, Brandon.
We'll catch you guys.
Yeah, thanks.
Have fun at the beach.
Thanks.
Hey, thank you, Brandon.
Take care, Brandon. Have fun. All right, Greg, show us the number.
All right. Yeah, I'm stoked we were able to get him on because he's got an even crazier life than me. So, what was the other thing I wanted to mention? Anyways, so I do all the analysis on Bigger Pockets calculator because I know that's, Brandon's preferred method and that's what he's familiar with. So this is how we do all of our analysis. Let's see here. We'll start off. Like I said, the purchase price was $900,000. Closing costs estimated about $6,500. I did call. What's the episode? Somebody asked, "What's the episode?" It's episode 385. I think the title is something like "How to Go from Homeless to Something." I don't know because I was homeless before.
It's this week's current episode. So if you just go to the app, you guys will find it.
Yeah. Okay. So the estimated closing costs for anybody that's kind of new, also and trying to figure that out, we call it escrow. So I built a relationship with a couple. Actually, I used to be an escrow myself, so I kind of had relationships with a few of them already. And now I'm at the point where I can just call them when I'm negotiating on a deal and say, "Hey, here's the purchase price. Here's what's involved in it. What's our closing cost going to be?" So that was pretty close I think, to what we spent. Again, Michael will go confirm my numbers once we go through this. This analysis is updated. So initially it was 35,000 on rehab, but I updated that since we spent 45. Total cost of project is 951, and projected ARV was 1.1. Now that's kind of our worst case scenario. Like, that's if we really start seeing some pretty severe effects from coronavirus. The comps on the street. So this particular HOA, you have one other current listing that is pending that was listed for 1.5. That's very comparable, slightly large, I think 200 square feet more, a little nicer landscaping. But other than that, it's very comparable property. So that makes ours look like a screaming deal. And I think the lowest price sale was 1.2, which was a very undesirable house. Like, didn't have a bathroom on the main level, had a bunch of downsides. So 1.1, again, this is like, we look at a deal as if everything goes wrong, will we lose our shirts? And if we can do a deal where everything goes wrong and we still break even or still make a little bit, then we're in, we do it. But if we look at the analysis and it's like, we'll make money if everything goes right, but if some stuff goes wrong or if everything goes wrong, we'll probably lose some or a significant amount of money. We don't do a deal like that. So again, this is kind of worst case. We listed this house very aggressively. Again, we wanted to sell fast, especially with everything going on. We decided to list it even lower, which is 1.15. So $1,150,000. And we already had somebody in contract for that, but they had financing issues, so that fell through. But I don't think we'll have any issue selling at that price. And then again, the other part of this deal is, Brandon mentioned, we always look at multiple strategies. So we know that we can rent this house out. Now with our hard money loan, we would be a negative cash flow. But if we're gonna end up holding it for a couple of years, we're just gonna refi into a traditional mortgage anyways. So we can refinance into a traditional mortgage, rent it out, and it's not going to cash flow, but it's going to pretty much break even. So Brandon was comfortable with that. And Brandon also felt like another reason that got us to do this deal was that it's, again, a very desirable neighborhood, a really nice house, kind of near, like just down, actually like maybe 5 blocks from his house. And he was okay with owning it. He felt like, if we have to hold this thing for 5 years, I'm okay owning a house in Wailea, that breaks even. He's cool with that. So again, on our worst case scenario here, the projected profit was 39,900. I think that's assuming that it takes 180 days to sell. So, and if you look just to the right of that, where it says profit if held for, if we sold it in 45 days, it would have been 70,000. Our rehab on this house took almost a month, so 45 days was pretty unrealistic, but 90 days can still happen, so we can make 60,000 worst case scenario, and 270 days, again, like I see this house selling in definitely less than 180 days, the way it's priced right now. So total personal cash invested, 242,000. This one was a lot. That's mostly because of the circumstances, with everything that happened. The lending industry, hard money really tightened up. It's a miracle that KÉCŌ is able to get us funded. But we did have to put a little bit higher down payment. And we also had to pay the interest, so the 12 months, I think it was 12 months of interest. Again, Micah will correct me if I'm wrong, but it was 12 months of interest payments at closing. up front. So then we'll get reimbursed when we sell the property.
Hey,
for
Greg,
any
where's
months
that listed in the deal analysis? And then Brian asked a similar question. How about the points? Where do you list that in the analysis so that way it's part of the calculations? Or maybe Micah, if that's
the,
there.
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
so
I'm sorry, go ahead, Greg.
oh
So
no, I'm just looking for the points on here. I
Yeah.
know it's on here.
Yeah, so on here, I don't think it shows the actual points on the final sheet, but on the Bigger Pockets calculator, as you're going through it, it's like a step-by-step thing. You could input the amount of points and other loan costs like the interest rate and stuff like that on there. But yeah, that's a good point. I don't see it specifically being called out on this spreadsheet that it spits out.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Cool. But it was taken into calculation and consideration.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. So when you're inputting, it asks you for points due at closing, loan interest rate, total, other loan costs. And so you have closing cost, and then you also have the closing costs, right? So I put in the 6,500, which is title, escrow, conveyance, lawyer, all that stuff. And then I put in for the other lender fees. I just always put in 2,000. I actually probably should put like 2,500, maybe. I'll bump that up, 3,000. But I think that 2,000 is already conservative because that's covering like appraisal and then whatever the lender fee is, like usually what, 800, 1,200 bucks, something like that. Actually, I think the 2,000 is probably pretty spot on. That's probably what it usually comes out to. So anyways, yeah, you put in the points, it factors all that in there. That is included in that 242,000 total. Okay, so loan amount was 765. Oh yeah, sorry. Total cash invested was 242. That includes the rehab. That includes everything I listed. Holding costs per month is about 7,000. So again, this property would rent for about 5,000. So on the hard money, we'd be at a loss. But again, if we decide that we're going to rent it out, we're going to refi, and the total cost will be right around that 5,000. So the ROI 16.49, and the ROI annualized is 33%. So pretty good return. Not, again, this is worst case, so it's not a home run return, but still a lot better than you can get in a lot of other, most other investments, right?
Yeah, it's looking good. And so this is the one that you use for the deal analysis. What, Micah, do you have a spreadsheet at all that you use for tracking the costs during rehab to basically keep Greg in check? Because everybody knows project managers love to go to Home Depot and pick up stuff, and then all of a sudden you're buying things that you don't necessarily planned to do earlier.
Yeah. So for the accounting side, I track every expense, every invoice that comes in on QuickBooks. So for those who are familiar with QuickBooks, I mean, I haven't really experimented with too many of the other programs, but I've been using QuickBooks to track. And I'm not so much of an accountant. My background is more in finance. So when I first started, I was helping them out with their other flips, and I was using spreadsheets, but I knew that we had to transition over to something a little more professional. And so we stuck with QuickBooks.
And for QuickBooks, desktop or online?
I use it online, but you could use desktop, and I think it works just as well.
Nice. Awesome.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. And so one thing that I ran into after, doing a lot of research, I found this guy actually, his name is Income Digs. And this guy is an awesome resource to do for bookkeepers or anyone looking to do their own bookkeeping on properties. He runs through a good step-by-step strategy on how to properly set up QuickBooks for real estate investors, whether you're doing flips, buy and holds, all that type of stuff. He has different strategies for all those different types of scenarios. And so I found this good video by this guy named Income Digs, and I could share the link with you guys if you guys want it. But he has really helped us set up like a really good organized way on how to set up the accounting for flips. And so this specific project, 167 Banana, you could see here, we have everything set up under cost of goods sold because everything is an expense right now since we haven't sold the property yet. But the cool thing here is we could set it up in a way where we have our main items here, purchase price 900, our buying cost, which is all the stuff that we brought at closing, around 85,000, and our rehab costs we're currently at a little under 45,000, and some holding costs at 2,200. But the setup with this is if we go here to project reports, we could pull like a project profitability or kind of like a project P&L based on this specific project. And again, it lists it in a really nice way. And if we wanted to go even further, like say if Greg had a question on how much we spent on landscaping for this project, we could click into here and we could set it up in a way where we could group it by, in our case, it's called a product or service. That's basically like different sub accounts of a rehab cost. So we could split it up into general expenses, down to siding and paint, things that we spent for the outdoor part, patio, landscaping.
How much did we spend on landscaping?
Yeah, so for landscaping, for example, we spent a little under $4,700 on landscaping.
Okay.
Yeah.
Solid. And so,
Yeah.
Micah, are you running all of your checks for accounts payables through QuickBooks, and so it automatically that journal entry gets posted as an expense?
No, we don't run any of the checks through QuickBooks. We've been like handwriting checks or paying through invoices online. And then I manually go on here and enter it. However, QuickBooks has a thing where you could upload your bank. So all the transactions automatically run through QuickBooks and then you could add it on that way.
Are you guys intentionally deciding not to do that, or what? Why do the manual?
Yeah, I guess we just haven't set up that process yet, but that's something that we should probably start going towards.
Just curious from a business perspective. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, but this is
So
more of
then
the accounting. Yeah, sorry. But yeah, so this is more of the accounting side, and then we saw that spreadsheet that Greg puts together using the Bigger Pockets tools, but I'm like a big spreadsheet Excel guy. And so a lot of the numbers that Greg plugs into here, I verify it at the end or during the project using kind of my own little spreadsheet. And this is like a custom spreadsheet that I created that's specific towards this deal. And so I haven't really tested it out on like a template for others, but this is kind of me verifying, Greg's numbers and Greg's projections, seeing if what he's putting down is exactly what we're experiencing throughout the deal and offering some different scenarios. So again, just to kind of run through this, I inputted a 1.1 million sales price. I assumed we're going to hold it for 120 days, which means we would close on July 29th. We purchased it at 900. Our down payment was 135, and our loan was 765. We had 2% in two points up front. Our interest rate was 8%, which means our our interest per day is around $167.
That's so cool that you guys do that. Corey and I do the same thing on all of our projects.
Yeah.
So we know that, even on Sundays, man, the interest keeps going. So
exactly.
It's kind of a neat motivator in some ways. It's also a little bit scary, but yeah, it's kind of cool. And so interest paid up front. Explain that for people that are newer to investing and kind of newer to hard money. Why did you have to pay interest up front, and is that always the situation?
Yeah, Greg, do you want to handle that question?
Yeah, I think that, this was kind of something that was situation specific because of everything that was happening in late March of 2020. There, and Corey can go more into how the hard money industry works, but my understanding is that, some of the sources of funding were no longer, basically they were not doing business. So it was like we had one source, KÉCŌ was able to get this funds from one particular partner, and they wanted to be really conservative, understandably. So they wanted the interest to be paid up front. They didn't want to have to worry about us defaulting on the loan. They didn't want to, they wanted a more conservative LTV. They wanted to make sure that there was some equity in case they needed to foreclose and sell the home. Basically, to protect their investment, these are just some of the steps that we had to take. So, and this is why it really pays to have, I'm so blessed, fortunate that still don't understand why Brandon wanted me to partner with him, but he chose me. So he actually asked me to partner with him. I was like, are you kidding me? Like, that's my dream, of course. Anyway, so having a partner like Brandon is great because, he was able to pull that off. Like, if I was buying this house on my own to flip, and then the only funding I was able to get, I had to pay the interest up front. That could have been a deal breaker because, I might not have, and it depends on when you catch me, I might not have that money in the bank ready to go. So yeah, I was really fortunate to have Brandon as a partner in this situation, and we're prepared for these kind of things to happen. Like, you don't have to invest money to invest, but you do have to, I believe you have to have reserves. You have to be prepared, or have a partner that has some reserves and be prepared for things. Because if a pandemic breaks out, you might need some extra funds.
Yeah.
Well, Greg, first of all, like it's very clear why Brandon chose you, as like, seriously, especially during those times. Because like Brandon said, it's like, you don't really see someone's true colors until their back's up against the wall, and all of our backs were up against the wall during that time. And, we really saw, what you got inside of you. And so to me, Brandon made a great decision, and
thanks, Corey.
For the interest, it's called interest reserve. So basically it helps mitigate the risk for our capital partners, where the money's coming from. And so like Greg said, it's like you pay the interest up front. Usually they might require like a 3-month interest reserve, but during this time, some of our capital partners were requiring 12 to 18 months of interest reserve paid up front. That means it's not much more money you have to bring to the table to close the deal, right? So it does, sometimes you do have to come out of pocket if something drastic happens like this in the future. So, but interest reserve is what it's called. So if a lender ever requires interest reserve, basically they're asking for the interest paid up front. But for our team, whenever we close a deal, we always raise the interest, whether it's out of our pocket or we bring on private lenders as gap funders. We raise the entire interest payment for the length of the loan or the project up front anyways. So if a lender asks me, we want 12 months of interest reserve, then I already have that on hand. So it's no problem to us, right? So that's how I suggest you guys approach every deal anyways, is have the monthly payments already ready to go before you close the deal, because you don't want to go halfway through and then you run out of money and you can't pay the mortgage, and then you're in trouble, right?
Yeah, I agree. And I think regardless of what deal you're doing, flip or buy and hold or whatever, I think that especially at this time now, it's important to just have 12 months of payments. Thank you, Casey. Have 12 months of payments and reserves anyways, I'm working on a BRRRR right now, rental property here on Maui, and got to make sure that I'm going to be refinancing that into a traditional mortgage, but I'm going to have to make sure I have 12 months. I think the bank might even be requiring 12 months. They were 6 months before, but I think it's, if I'm not mistaken, it's 12 months now for a lot of banks. Anyways, hey, listen, guys, I know we're kind of going over time here. I did just pull up on my phone, I have a screenshot of the Bigger Pockets analysis. So the one that we're sharing was the PDF form. Once you finish the analysis, you can download a PDF to send to people. So that's what I send to Brandon. That's kind of what we do to share. But this is actually, let me see if I can show this on this. Tell me if you guys can see. The
We see the
loan.
looking nice.
Okay, so loan points out of pockets is right here. So this is the screen that I get once I finish running the analysis. I'm not sure if it's like blurred or not, but anyways, right here we got loan points out of pocket. So that was 17,300. So that's where it shows it. I'm actually, I guess I'd never noticed this before, that it doesn't show it there on the actual PDF, which is interesting. I might email the Bigger Pockets guys and let them know they should add that in there.
Yeah, I'd be like, hey Brandon, what's up, man? You gotta track these things on the front page. But hey, Micah, what else you got? So you got the expected profit and loss statement, so that's great. And then we saw the section.
Yeah. So this section here, these couple first columns B through D and then G through H. This is just for one scenario, and you know this section here from J through N. These boxes here are like a multiple scenario type of thing. So we can update here real time, you know, say if we expect it to be 90 days, and if we expect it to be 100 days, and at various selling points, what our actual profit would be at the end. So
nice.
Yeah, so that's why I kind of like doing the spreadsheets, is because I mean, I can customize it as much as, you know, I really want to. And something with the Bigger Pockets calculator is it's super helpful, but I think they have set amount of days that they provide you without you being able to offer like any other scenarios for any other days.
You can enter the total number of days of the project, but you cannot say like, show me what it would be for 180, 100, you know, 195 or something like that. You enter, so what I do is I always enter 180 days for most, because we do a lot of simple, you know, lipstick flips. And then it also automatically, it will tell you the expected profit for 90 days. Let's see, 45, 90, like we went over before, 45, 90, and 270, I think, something like that. So I put in 180 because then it shows me, you know, month and a half, 3 months, 6 months, 9 months.
That's awesome. Right on. Hey man, this is super cool. We could probably go on a long time, but what are some of the final things, Micah, that you've got? Anything else that you want to share?
I mean, I think this is pretty much about it. I mean, this one is like a pretty custom spreadsheet just for this specific deal. I do have little sections here where you guys might find it useful for your specific flips. Pretty much everything in yellow is like an input where you could change and it'll affect the different calculations. But if you guys are interested in it, I could send it over to you guys and maybe make it more of like a template. I just haven't tested it on too many other flips. This one's a pretty project specific one.
Well, we'll have a whole network of folks helping you beta test it, then we'll let you know.
Absolutely.
That'd be awesome. Micah, can you throw your email address down in the chat?
Yeah.
And then Justin, will you work with Micah to grab this spreadsheet and then throw it onto KÉCŌ Exchange on the Facebook page?
Yeah, absolutely. For sure.
Thanks, Micah, for sharing that. That's huge.
Yeah.
It's super helpful when people get a chance to see what else we're all using as tools. So that's awesome.
And just in case people don't know where to go to get access to the Bigger Pockets analyzer, do you have to be a core member for that? Or is it free? I can't remember.
So you can, I believe you get access to, you do 5 analysis per month under the free membership. So you go to biggerpockets.com, you click on the top, there's an option for tools. And then under tools, you'll see calculators. And then you got the flipping calculator, you got the long-term buy and hold calculator. Then you also have a specific calculator for BRRRR that shows you the, difference between your returns when you pay for cash and then after you refinance it. And then you got like a wholesale calculator, basically they got a calculator, Airbnb, they got a calculator for every strategy. Yes, but with a pro membership, you get unlimited calculator use, and then it also saves all your reports. So like for example, right now I'm looking at buying a rental that I actually had attempted to buy 2 years ago or something, and I still have the analysis. So I just pulled that analysis up and just, anything that changed, I plugged in, but it was all pretty much the same.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so super helpful.
Right on. Well, Greg, thank you so much. Micah, same, and Brandon as well. This is super insightful. And the fact that you guys shared the Bigger Pockets tool is helpful for a lot of folks that need something basic to get started. And Micah, thanks for sharing your Excel spreadsheet. And then also with the QuickBooks, I think if anybody's got questions about QuickBooks, it's really a great tool. Corey and I use that as well. Well, I lie. Layla uses it on Corey and my behalf. We have no clue what we're doing with it, but she's phenomenal. So if you've got questions for the QuickBooks side, Micah is just super generous. And so if you want to shoot him a message, he can let you know kind of what to think about on the QuickBooks side. And then Micah beat me to it. There's the link for the income digs. Good source and a good resource for anybody who's looking for some information there. But yeah, I think that's it. Any final thoughts, Micah or Greg?
I think I'm good, but hey guys, thank you so much for allowing us to share the project. Really appreciate it.
Thank you
guys. Really appreciate it.
You guys are awesome, and we appreciate the generosity too to share resources. I think that's always been our heart, is to not necessarily hold anything back, but to give the opportunity for everybody to learn together. So this is awesome. So, well, with that,
thank you guys for having us. And you know, this, like I mentioned, I think this thing, so it's listed now. We expect it to be selling very soon. We are looking for our next deal on Maui. If anybody has any leads out here or is interested in any kind of like JV partnership or anything like that, Brandon and I are always open to new opportunities, and we're always looking for deals. And we also strongly believe in working together as opposed to competing with each other. So yeah, we're big believers in networking and just being a team together, and we all win together versus kind of, you know, not showing our cards and just competing and trying to fight it out, and we all end up losing, right? So yeah, feel free to reach out to us.
About, like, you guys, like as I guess visible as you guys are, and Brandon, you know, he's fully transparent, you know, which amazes me, you know, because even you know, the spotlight's on him, right? But he's the same guy. He's just an average guy, but does above average things. And so I really appreciate you guys. Love working with you guys. Thanks again for hopping on.
Yeah, and again, like, I can't say enough, KÉCŌ is just freaking rock stars, man. The miracles they've pulled for us, unreal, unbelievable. Can't thank them enough.
Well, you can thank us with a really nice monkey pod dessert one day. We'll all come over to Maui. We'll do a meetup on Maui, and all of us can come together. We can hang out, which would be a blast. And then,
hey, we got a house in Wailea.
Yeah, right.
That's empty right now, right next to Brandon's house. Why don't you guys come on over and crash there for a few days?
Yeah,
we're all down. The only problem is once we land, we have to stay in the house for 14
You're
days.
stuck.
So you'll
hey,
have
it's a house in Wailea. It's $1 million house in Wailea, a block from the beach. You're good.
Yeah, you know,
and you're allowed to go to the beach now.
Oh, true that. Yeah, it's starting to change. Washington, we're at 1.5 phase, whatever the heck that means. So yeah, things are changing. But hey, I know it's 2:23, and we always told everybody we want to respect everybody's time. This is great fun. It's a lot. It's great to just have these resources. We thank Greg and Brandon and Micah for just sharing your hearts and your experiences. We wish you luck, that you get a great offer here soon. And hopefully you get over asking and you'll make tons of money, so you truly can buy us all Monkey Pod, which would be fantastic. But to everybody else, thanks so much for being on. We'll hang out here for a few minutes to officially kind of wrap things down, but we're here every single Friday. Next week, we got an investor highlight from here in the Pacific Northwest. Leica Zabatha is a very successful real estate investor, and she's done some really creative investing. In fact, she has a podcast going on right this very moment, so she couldn't be on, but next week we'll get to hear from her, so that's going to be pretty exciting. But any final announcements from anybody before we kind of wrap up here? And if you've got to get rolling, totally get it. But any final announcements for anybody or thoughts?
One thing, yesterday we were on the call for on NPLA, they had the vice president of market economics from auction.com speaking and giving his all the data that he was showing. And I guess not surprising anymore, but how the housing market is not just holding steady, but it's strong. It's stronger than before the pandemic. And all the signs point to the reason being that the inventory is so low, right? So it's kind of like what we were all thinking. And so I just want to put that out there, because for me, it just, even though the prices are staying strong, still I'd say run your numbers if you're going into a deal as if, you know, things are going to turn, right? Because that data right now I think is a little skewed, just because the inventory is so low. So just be careful when you're making offers. You know, stay conservative.
Will do. Any other final thoughts, anybody?
I just want to second that, man. Like, I think if we're all conservative, we all just don't risk the farm on every deal, we don't drive the prices up on each other, you know, because I feel like most of the time we're all competing on the same deals. So that's why I'm just a really big believer in working together. You know, I've walked away from deals so that another investor could take it, and they walked away on the next one so that I could buy it. So yeah, I'm a strong believer in all that.
Greg, we like all get one free shirt too, like yours. It's fancy.
It was like $10 on Vistaprint.
It looks awesome. Well, right on, everybody. Mahalo nui loa for joining us on Aloha Friday. Hope you're healthy wherever you're at. Thanks, Nidal, for staying up till 2 o'clock in the morning. We've got some folks on, I can see, from Washington, D.C. as well. So, John, thanks for being on. And for everybody in between, all over the country, have a great week. Stay healthy. And let's do everything we can to keep making it a successful summer as we all jump into real estate investing together. So, with that, aloha.
Take care, guys.
Bye, guys. Thanks again.
Bye, Tay.
Hello, everybody. Thank you.
Oh, it's so windy there in Vegas right now.
Yeah.
He got done the whole time we were on the call. He was in a gym. Dude, that's just, I'm jealous.
I know you were.
Even fair. I think we need to go check out our flip, bro. Our Vegas flip. You know, it's on market. We should probably go out there, go check out the gym. I mean, check out our flip.
I heard they're opening the casinos.
Oh, well, how's that going to work? Social distancing gambling? That doesn't. Blackjack with what? 6 feet? Is there's like one person on each end of the table?
It opened up. It opened up yesterday.
Yeah, I saw a picture of it on Twitter. It was a little bit interesting.
That just doesn't. That doesn't sound right.
It didn't look fun.
Yeah, I can't imagine that going well, but yeah, it's interesting. It'll be interesting.